Hey everybody, Edo here, and this is going to be an interesting one. This is the Dutch East Indies base game, but now on Kickstarter is the expansion, the Dutch East Indies Adventures on the High Seas expansion. Now, I did an unboxing of this game. It's got tons of components, and this board is gigantic in the base game. So I don't have this whole thing set up, but you have this massive board, C, that you're going to put on this table. Big table game, big play game. This is a 60 to 90 easy. And then on this board, you're going to set up a center core island and then a variety of islands around the perimeter and at different locations on the board. So you basically put out the ocean and then fill it with regions, and then players start on different points and get going. And so I've actually not played Merchants and Marauders, but my understanding is this is similar to that game from other people I've played it with, but I have not played that game, so I can't speak to that. But essentially, you are going to have your pirates, or you're not pirates, excuse me. You're just traders. There are pirates in the world that you need to deal with, but you're traders, and you are gonna start with some crates and some money, and you're gonna go around and you're gonna sell crates for money and get goods and have just your standard sort of economy flow. And then along the way, you have your ships on your shipboard, and you're upgrading your cannons and your cargo space and your speed, the amount of spots you can move per round. And then you have all your different conversion rates. You can, at different locations, so you can turn crates, goods into money and spices. You can have all these sorts of different trading you're going to do, and you're traveling around the ocean, really just movement points around the board, going from port to port, selling. Well, so that's pretty straightforward. Everything in the game is mechanically sound, but what makes it interesting? Well, you carry goods in your ship, and if you're attacked or otherwise, you drop goods into the sea, and then they become available to you or other players who are moving around. You have this concept of a big ship and a small ship. I can show it you better here. That have different values and rates, and as you're moving around, you have the different ships. You can go in different directions, but if you keep them together, you if one guy gets attacked and drops stuff, the other guy can pick it up, which is useful. But also, if they're touching, you can freebie pass goods between the ships, which is like this super cool dynamic because you're like, oh, pirates, take my stuff. Of all the things in the game, I actually find the dual ship mechanic the most interesting, and actually sort of wish there had been more to it than that. And then there are pirates who are sort of procedurally moving around the board and just destroying people. These ships are part of you can buy like a deluxe edition or special edition ships and coins for the game. The coins and the nice goods are great. The ships aren't. I would not recommend getting these ships. They're cool, but the goods don't fit in the ships. So like the standard ones with a removable sail unit if you want to, but are just more space in the ship, are more practical to the game. So these are very cool, and they have them all in different colors. But from putting this stuff in, ultimately what we ended up doing, because we like the ship so much, is we kept their goods off board, but it's sort of a mismatch. But so what do I think about this base game? Oh, and you have a directional pirate die. One more thing. This game does have the most robust iconograph sentences ever. This actually goes through and details all of the conditions for battle and what happens. You're like, this doesn't make any sense. And then you read it and you're like, oh, that's sort of exactly how you might symbolically say that sentence. It supports like 6 different languages or 4 different languages out of the box, but it's been a long time since I've seen something that big. Ultimately, I think the game is good. It's a little bit slow. Player interaction can be pretty low, and it's a very big board. I think there are some challenges because of that, and also depending on the randomness of the pirates, it can feel abusive, or if they end up on your side of the board forever, you can get frustrated. So all the pieces, so overall the pieces are there and the mechanics are there. It works. It's a sound game. I think there are some challenges around length of play and then some offsets. Now, we have the Dutch Indies Adventures on the High Seas. This is an interesting expansion. What they've done is they've essentially taken the multi-expansion approach, which is to say, oh, there's a bunch of different things that we've added. You can take one or multiple ones of them, and many of which I think address and start adding more play to the Dutch East Indies experience. I think if you played this game and you liked it, the Dutch East Indies, this expansion is a no-brainer. Just get it. If you haven't played, you might play first, and if you didn't like the Dutch East Indies of the Seas or it was too long for you, you know, I don't think this is going to suddenly make you love the game. Just straightforward. But let's talk about them quickly. I didn't have as fancy rules here, but just to remind myself. Okay, so they're the forts. Forts get placed in your home base. Normally, other players can't attack your base. Now they can, and they can raid from you, and they have to deal with your forts, and forts of cannons. So that's an interesting thing. Not really, not something that really draws you out beyond the sea, but it can be interesting and work, and it's another little element within the game. All of these are modular, really easy to add in. The events are good. The events are, hey, when you go to... so you can go to a trade location, island, and find their stuff there. And you normally draw a card, but now there's just different events and things that can happen in the world and action cards. A lot of those can help you, help other players, move people through the world. So like, I think it adds some more velocity to the game and speeds things up. So I like the event cards. You know, if you don't like, you know, it went from a place where you're just getting different values of resources and conversions to now something could happen unexpectedly. Some people might not like that, but I'm a fan of events, so that worked well. You can even have a Kraken appear, which is cool. Psh, little dragon. The events one, we have, where's the other? Crew. This is just an extension of how you're working and managing your board and having crew on it, and crew give you advantages. So I like the use of crew. They can increase your cargo hold, make you move faster. Again, in my mind, all these things, the reason I like them and the reason I think it helps the game is they accelerate play and get things going, which helps, and more maneuverability and just getting you out of your corner and getting you able to like be attacking more and engaging more characters on such a big board, I think is valuable. Settlements, too, these are on the little islands. They're like, you can take them over and then have settlements outside, which help you, again, not just have to go back to your town in your corner all the way over here, but actually sort of move through the world a little bit more actively and set up bases. So I think all these things sort of extend and expand upon the original game. And reefs are, okay, so there's treasure cards and reefs. Reefs tend to be, they're locations that can like slow down ships and mess things up. So I was like remembering reefs. I was like, oh yeah, I didn't really like reefs. The reefs one was like it's the opposite, right? It slows things down. And the treasure cards were the last one. And these are just another variant on the trade cards. So more sort of interesting things happening with the trade cards. I think it makes the locations more dynamic. And again, anything to accelerate play, get this game moving. The mechanics are sound. You can just sort of like hang out in your zone. And it can also seem a little brutal if the pirates are just pounding on you, because the pirates move every round, even if you don't. So like, you can just be like, oh. So, big game, big experience. It says 30 to 60, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes per player, but I would bump it up to 60 to 90. With the expansion, after you get through all the rules, I think it does speed it up as you go. And I think it's definitely worth checking out if you're a big fan of the original game. So, this is the Dutch East Indies Standard Edition with some of the expansion-y stuff, or not expansion, but like promo stuff, and then the Adventures of High Seas expansion. Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks. Bye.